Pacers shoot amazing in the first half, and Boston terrible in the second half, giving up a 20-point lead for their fifth straight loss. What on earth just happened? What happened in crunch time? There are changes to the lineups, didn't work, some revealing stuff in this game. Yeah, we'll get to it all today on the Locked On Pacers podcast.
You are Locked On Pacers, your daily Indiana Pacers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday, and welcome into another edition of the Locked On Pacers podcast, where we, of course, talk about the Pacers. As always, my name's Tony East. I cover the team for Forbes and Circle City. And today, oh boy, Pacers go to Boston and start awesome in a lot of ways and make a bunch of threes, and they're up by 20, and the vibes are great, and the Celtics make subs, and the Celtics make some shots, and the Pacers stop making shots, and they lose their game in a row and almost lose by double digits despite a 20-point second-half lead. That's for the Pacers, their fifth loss in a row. So much to get to. Did anything actually change besides shocking? Yes. What was going right early? What was not going right late? Some crunch time decisions that I was in favor of that did not go particularly well. Oh, boy. A lot to get to. I hope this sounds and looks safe for you listening. I'm in my temporary setup for the Christmas week. Over my shoulder, you'll be Reggie Miller and a snowman. I hope that is enough festive and Pacers ground for you all. Let's just start with the start of this game, because this felt like the Pacers clicking a little better to me, even before they were like, holy cow level of high from three. And that's what made this game so bizarre. The game was played fast early, and the Pacers are like a fast team this year, but I think they were comfortable with the pace of the game that was happening, and the Celtics play up tempo too. They get up their shots early in possessions, but you know, the pace always feels good when you can get a shot that you like. And entering this game, both teams really similar in pace. Pacers 15th, Celtics a little slower than them, I believe. I'm having trouble actually finding them in the pace sheet, but yeah, they're actually last. I think their transition keeps them down. So the Pacers were happier with the pace early. They were getting good shots, quick in possession. Siakam was cooking to start this game. He was getting through double teams really fast, right? This was sending two to him, and they were doing it in a unique way. It wasn't the closest defender. It wasn't somebody on the weak side. They would like peel down from the top, and he kept deciding quickly what to do. And Lloyd Pierce even commented on that at halftime. He had 23 points at halftime. Lloyd Pierce said, yes, he's been decisive. He's been quick with the doubles. It's been great. He made his three, right? The stuff they were doing beyond the shooting was really good. The ball movement was great. They were the worst shooting team in the league, who just shot 8 for 42 against the Pels, and they were making a thing to start this game. The Celtics go to a 2-1-2 zone to try to cut off certain threes, and that didn't even really matter. The Pacers kind of carved up, got to their shots, and made them. I don't remember their exact start from three. I believe they were 8 for 9 from deep. Yes, they were 8 for 9 from deep at one point, and that felt good. And at halftime, they were 12 for 20 from deep, and that felt good. And yet it was kind of goofy at one point, because they were 8 for 12 from three, and I remember looking and being like, wait, they're only 11 for 21 from the field. So they were 3 for 9 on twos. And that kind of made me raise an eyebrow. Like, I'd be really worried about this lead as the Pacers with how hot they are shooting. And yet, that was the only indicator that this might actually be a good game for them. The Celtics had 43 points at halftime. The Pacers defended moderately well. I thought Jaylen Brown had an first half. He was like losing the ball out. Why you couldn't really feel him. Like, the Celtics made this huge hockey sub to start, not quite hockey sub, Hugo Gonzalez didn't, but close to hockey sub to start the second half, because the starters for them were particularly effective, right? So the Pacers shot it really great, gave up fewer points and a half than they gave up in the first quarter 2 days ago, and did a lot of stuff that I thought, okay, that's better. That looks good. They're making shots. They're moving it. I like the way they were playing early, like I said, beyond the shooting. And yet they were so warm that I wondered if they could hold this if the shot dropped off. And then the second half starts, and the Pacers are up 20, 69 to 49 abouts when the Pacers do big sub. And they scored less than 30 points the rest of the game. Offense evaporated into thin air completely. It was a disaster in the final 21 minutes of offense for the Pacers in this game. We just got the game book of stats from the Celtics, and you can really go check any half you want beyond the second quarter. You will be shocked. You will be shocked. Third quarter, Pacers 8 for 26 from the field. That is 30.8%, 8% on threes, 1 for 12. The same team. They're the worst shooting team in the league, but not that bad. And they were much better in the first half of this exact game. 4 turnovers could either. But they found some groove at the end of that quarter. Mathurin and Siakam came in. They got the lead back to 10. Maybe they'll stabilize these things. Certainly the fourth quarter will be better than that, right? It has to be. How about no? Fourth quarter Pacers, 4 for 18 from the field. Made shots from Cam Jones at the end of the game, boosting that percentage. 1 make for Nembhard, 1 for Ethan Thompson, 1 for Mathurin. That's it. Siakam over 3, Jarris over 3, Jarris Walker, oh boy. With him, they shoot dreadful. 12 for 44 in the second half of this game. 1 for 20 from 3. What are you even supposed to do? The Celtics weren't even that great. The Celtics were 20 for 43. They made 6 threes. The Celtics had more turnovers. Pacers made every free throw they took. They could not make anything. 12 for 20 is a pretty good shooting half. Obviously, 60% is, but it's not so exceptional. They needed it to be better because the second half of this game, All Cities NBA podcast, Mara, as their Twitter account, tweeted this. Pacers had a 28.4% effective field goal percentage in the second half. That is the lowest by any team in any half of a game this season. That is as bad as it gets. Whew. So you can and will talk about a lot of things that looked good in one half and bad in the other. You can talk about certain players doing certain things. You can talk about rotational choices, crunch time defense, and all that stuff. That is all kind of important. The Celtics went 3 in the first half, 60 in the second half. 60 is not good, but it's not bad on defense. They definitely got worse, but not bad. This game was just awful play finishing for 24 minutes. As good as their first half was, their second half was not equally bad. Their second half was much worse in the opposite direction in a way that I felt like at times was so bad that they would get it back. My note in the first half, really it's the first quarter that says I'd be about this lead with the hot shooting, was in the fourth quarter. Oh, they'll start to make shots and they'll win. They never, ever did. So I thought this was 2 things. This was a good start of actual process that felt good. Ethan Thompson started, and I don't know if that was a switch after Rick Carlisle said he'd evaluate the starters versus TJ McConnell didn't play. They needed Quentin Jackson to be the backup point guard. That's fine. Ethan Thompson actually played okay, and then 5 for 12. But he started. The game looked good and crisp. The bench came in and did okay with Q pushing the pace. And before Isaiah Jackson left with an injury, he was really impactful, and Johnny Furphy's defense was still there. It's like, okay, their top 8's going to look good. Figured something out. Garrison Matthews isn't playing. Like, okay, this is their rotation tonight. Maybe there's something to this. They're doing everything. All they had to do was shoot okay. Just okay in the second half of this game. They lost this basketball game. Granted, Cam Jones hit a useless, important shot. They lost this game by less than 10 points. So you make 3 more threes and you win. And they went 1 for 20 in the second half from 3. If they went 4 for 20, that's 20%. That's still bad. They would have won the game. 20% from 3.5, they would have won the game. That is how bad they shot the ball from 3 in the second half. Mathurin 0 for 2. He can make threes. Pascal Siakam made 4 in the first half. He was 0 for 2. Jay made threes in his whole career. He was 0 for 4. Ethan Thompson, still don't know what I think of him as he was 0 for 4. Andrew Nembhard, who was colder in the second half, he made 1. He was 1 for 2. 0 for 3 for Jarris Walker. 0 for 3 for Johnny Furphy. Both those guys could be categorized as streaky. So that's not totally surprising. But oof. I mean, just oof. A horrible second half. There's not much you can even say. So much changed in that second half. I want to get into some of the specifics of things that could have in theory flipped for the Pacers to win. Crunch time was a mess. They were still winning, I think, with inside the last 5 minutes, and even with 3 minutes to go, I felt like they could still win. They're dreadful to close. Yeah, 91-91 with 3 minutes to go. We got to talk about some of that stuff. Some players who didn't play, another injury in this game. TJ McConnell did not play. And some notes to get to as we continue here on Locked On Pacers. Before we do any of that, I need to tell you guys about FanDuel. NFL Sundays move fast, even NFL Mondays. When the cold one big play, suddenly everything feels different. That is what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds. Every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment right there. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift. Either gets hot, a defense tightens up, or the momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump in a moment. Live spreads and money lines adjust instantly. Player props update as guys heat up. You can bet next touchdown numbers, drive results, totals, and more. Keeps you locked into every snap, every drive, every possibility. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com. Place your NFL bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. We at Karen Locked On Pacers. Thanks for making us your first listen today and every single day. John Corrales of Locked On Celtics should be your second listen. He was in the arena in TD Garden for this game. He can tell you about the Celtics' spirited comeback. They'll say nice things about the adjustment Joe Mazzulla made to start Hugo Gonzalez over Josh Mott in the second half, and then keep Hugo Gonzalez. Hugo Gonzalez was awesome. Keep him out after he made hockey subs, and Jaylen Brown was not good at first, and then was awesome to get to 31 points, and Derek White finally hit some shots. They got a lot figured out in the second. Huge rotational shift from Boston to get that done. I don't even know that the Pacers didn't respond. They got nothing from their fives. Isaiah Jackson got hurt or was evaluated injury. TJ McConnell didn't play. They're running out of resources at some point. The Pacers who were not in rotation today were Garrison Matthews, Tillman Peter, Cam Jones, and Tony Bradley. I don't even think Rick Carlisle used his resources correctly. There's just not a lot you can do. So here's something that did happen. J-Hub was not very good in this game. I think J-Hub would tell you he wasn't very good. For 6 from the field, he made one of his 5 threes on a night there where a lot of guys were hot. He did not make anything. 5 rebounds, okay. 1 block, his streak of double blocks is over. And it got to a point, by the way, I'll remember the one that happened at home where I can't remember. It was against the Wizards, where he was going to block Bub Carrington. And Bub Carrington realized it, and this is a thing that happened to Miles Turner at one point. And Bub Carrington just threw a shot really high on purpose because J. Huff left his feet, and Marvin Bagley got the easiest putback of all time. And I think what was happening with J. Huff is he was doing too much of that, of block hunting, of getting off his feet, and that was letting his man get a lot of putbacks, get a lot of offensive rebounds. Tonight, Nehemiah Skeda, 2 offensive rebounds, Luka Garza, 5. Luka Garza killed them. He's got to kind of reel that in. His blocks have been obviously impressive, but he didn't do a whole lot. 3 minutes, they lost his minutes by 7. Off the bench, Isaiah Jackson was impactful and moving pretty well, and I didn't see the play. I'm sure something happened. He was evaluated for, as the Pacers call it, a head injury. That is good, especially when they have to fly to Indy for a back-to-back against Boston tomorrow. That James Wiseman as their, thank God they used a hardship to get a center, as their third center, and he too didn't have an impactful night. He missed his only shot. He had 2 assists in a round, but also 2 fouls. They won his minutes by 3. I'm not saying he was like bad or anything, but he was just kind of there. The centers were not giving them enough. And so in crunch time, they went small. And I actually thought we did it. I thought this is a good idea. This is something they should do. It's more dynamic. So the Nembhard, Mathurin, Siakam, they're going to be a part of any group. And then Quentin Jackson and Jarris Walker sharing the floor with those guys instead of Thompson and Huff, the starters. It felt good. It was a time with 3 minutes to go, like I said, and then just a disaster. I actually thought crunch time was looking for them, right? With 5 minutes to go, they were losing 88-89. Then Keita scores, Andrew Nembhard scores with an and 1 and ties the game. I thought, okay, they're actually doing okay here. They have a shot. Mathurin scored earlier. And then it was just a mess. Siakam misses a 3. Jarris Walker fouls. Jarris Walker misses a 3. Nembhard turnover. Nembhard fouls. Jarris Walker misses another 3. Jarris was not very good. I got the decision to play Jarris in this moment, to be clear. His size was also helpful in this exact moment. He had a steal on one point against Jaylen Brown that gave the Pacers a chance to cut it down, and they did not score on the possession. Ben Mathurin in traffic couldn't score. It was a mess. They cleared the bench with 42 seconds to go. A tie game with 3 minutes to go. With 42 seconds left, they were down. So their crunch time was working at first, and then was absolutely dreadful at the end. In the moment I defended, even in my notes, good, they're going small. I think that makes good sense. It did not work. It just didn't work. At least I understand it. It didn't work. So some stuff happened in this game with less pace in the second half. The Celtics were taking it away. The Pacers couldn't make anything. Once the momentum went away, it felt like there was a mental barrier. And I think this happens there's a lot this year. You can see this with a lot of the runs they've conceded. This wasn't the case in this game, but how many times have I talked about, this 5 minutes was so bad that the Pacers' rest of their game didn't really matter, right? I think this game was like a whole half of that kind of being a steady where they slowly start to see their lead fade away. Even though they're up 10 at the end of the third quarter, everybody tries to do a little bit more. They get out of the game plan just a tiny bit. trying to stop something that's been plaguing them or make a shot to stabilize things, thinking that what they're going to do is going to, and if it doesn't, then you're out of rhythm and you're a little frustrated at your teammate and the run is still happening. 19-5 run was the Celtics run that cut it from 20-6. They made those subs, and then Siakam and Mathurin came back in. Quentin Jackson's the point. They have a lot of rim pressure. They get it back up to 10. And I thought in that moment, okay, they've got something figured out perhaps. Finally, we're scoring without needing the three. That's awesome. And then the start of the fourth quarter was just terrible again. Jaylen Brown scores. Jaylen Brown scores. Jaylen Brown scores. It's a 2-point game. Pacers take a timeout and make subs. That stretch didn't hold. And that was just the story of the second half where stuff looked good for a second and just completely went away. And I think the story of the game beyond the threes, beyond the slight tweaks of defensive failure was one play that summarized the second half of the energy drain, the effort drain that goes away. Like I talk about, like I just said, when these runs start to happen, you try to be a hero, your head to sink a little bit. It was a close game. I don't remember the exact moment he got it. I was in the quarter, so I'm going to search his name in the box score and try to find it. But I can describe the play to you. The Celtics and Pacers get a shot. Great job by the Pacers, right? All they got to do now, get the rebound. Awesome. Easy peasy, right? Hugo Gonzalez just flies in to the lane. I think it might have been Jaylen Brown's missed dunk. I don't think that was it. But he just skies into the lane between a ton of Pacers defenders. It might actually have been, yes, this is it. Pacers missed a three. The Pacers are up by 4. Hugo Gonzalez skies in between 3 Pacers defenders for an offensive rebound that led to a Derek White 3. Made it a 1-point game. That felt like a backbreaking play. You got to have the effort to get that rebound because that was the one thing statistically that really shined the Celtics in this game to me. They had 11 offensive rebounds. That's like good but not exceptional. But turn that into 24 second chance points. That's over 2 points offensive rebound. And that Hugo Gonzalez one to me was the most criminal one where it's like, you got to get that as the Pacers. It was killer. And it was an effort play. It was just an effort play. Crunch time was not good. Effort was not good. Things faded away. Just brutal for the Pacers, who, again, the first half was so good. I even actually have a note in here. There was a play on an inbounds in the first half of the Pacers where they inbounded to James Wiseman. He's standing at the point line. He's looking at the rim. No one is guarding him. And so he does the right thing immediately. He realizes it. He flips it to Ethan Thompson, who's also kind of unguarded. And Thompson just buries a 3. And I was like, okay, if the James Wiseman to Ethan Thompson play off the inbounds is working, then yeah, they are. This is just their night. And then maybe that was the shot that completely flipped the game. You're up by 20 with 9 minutes on the third quarter, and you are down double digits by 1 point in the game. Just yikes. Just like yikes. So better shooting for the Pacers. Better defense for half a game for the Pacers. Seeing some signs of life from Johnny Furphy on defense again. For Pacers, Ethan Thompson heating up a bit, a career high for him. Siakam was balling in the half. Some stuff that they should have been happy about from this game had this been a normal game. But instead, it was a great first half followed by a dismal second half, way that just leaves you feeling sour walking out of the arena if you're the Pacers, who have now lost 5 in a row. Rick Carlisle still chasing win 1,000. I would have found it extremely poetic for him to get in Boston where he played all those years. At last, he will keep trying. They host the Celtics, or the Celtics, they host the Bucks tonight. And we still have so much more to get to from this Pacers game, a team the Pacers play again very soon in Indy on Friday. I want to talk about the notebook. A lot of stuff that I want to talk about that was not particularly good in this game. Stuff was good. Questions I still have about Ethan Thompson, or a few more things to get to close out today's Locked On Pacers. But first, everybody, need to talk to you about Robinhood. Nobody knows your money goals better than you. Robinhood puts you in control of your money with tools that work as hard as you do, locking in on every opening, beating your PR, beating it in, channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto, all right on one platform. You can build and execute your own trades from a desktop with Robinhood Legends Advanced Tools, or take advantage of the new Robinhood Strategies with a tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You expect more yourself, expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. Back here on Locked On Pacers. Thanks for making this your first listen today and every single day or second. Locked On Bucks, who are playing weird. Giannis not playing. in Indy tonight. They'll tell you about the Bucks, who are in 11th in the East and out of the play-in, and yikes. And the Pacers see them in Indy on Tuesday night. Let's keep it rolling here, talking Pacers Celtics. First, let me tell you about the Everydayer Club. If you listen every day, this could be perfect for you. It is an ad-free version of every episode of this podcast and access to an exclusive Discord. You can find out more about that in the description of this episode. Let's keep going. A lot of notebook stuff to get to. Pacers bench started as Nembhard, Thompson, Walker, Furphy, Jackson. I thought that was kind of odd that they go to Quentin Jackson earlier for that group, but that group worked at first. I think the rotational shifts in this game, I'm trying to figure out what they were trying to tweak between this is what they want to do and this was just who they had available for this game. It was really cutting up a zone, but didn't feel like it had a lot of shot creation on the floor, especially without TJ McConnell. And at times that showed up. The bench ends up having a tougher night. They 1 for 5 for Walker, 1 for 4 for Furphy, 2 for 5 for Quentin Jackson. Wiseman his only shot. That's a combined 4 makes on 15 shots for those players. Isaiah Jackson, Matthews, Taylor Peter, Cam Jones barely play. Speaking of Cam Jones, NBA debut for the 42 seconds, and he scored on a shot that was completely irrelevant to the results of the game. So he is on the board in the NBA. Good for him. We'll see if he gets actual real minutes with the Pacers. What exactly he can look like in an NBA setting. He had a good first game and only game with the Noble Boom down in the G League Showcase. I'm looking forward to really diving into that at some point. But the bench was kind of goofy in terms of who they had available and what was actually possible, unless Siakam came back in the game. But even then, Siakam was on the floor for much of Siakam, Nembhard, and Mathurin all on the floor for much of the Pacers' poor run, third and fourth quarter. They all, after a great first half, end up with negative plus minuses, shooting in their favor, but not in anyone's favor for the Pacers in this game. Speaking of Nembhard, he had in the first half a cross-court sick pass to Pascal Siakam for a 3 right after a gorgeous mid-range shot that I thought was awesome and continues to be like, dude, he's doing better stuff to me, but it hasn't all clicked in a way that has led to better stats or has led to better offense when he's on the floor yet for this team tonight. 20 points and 7 assists, but 4 turnovers, 3 fouls. Really hurt. And one of those fouls, by the way, this is the third game in a row I've about a call, and I'm going crazy. I never do this. I said I never do this. Both times I've done it before. So I always do this. If you've listened for a long time, you know that I never do this. He got called for a foul where Hugo Gonzalez, he might have actually hit Hugo Gonzalez, to be clear, in the face, but Hugo Gonzalez flopped so bad. And they called the foul, and then they gave him a tech for arguing about it. Like, come on, just watch the replay. It was so obvious that he flopped on the play. Jaylen Brown was really a tale of two halves player in this game that really transformed and changed is not a word, that really changed the game. In the first half, he was losing the ball out. His handle looked loose. He was questionable with the coming into this one. You wondered how good he would look, and he did not look very good early in this game in a way that, man, he looks flimsy. This isn't good. I think he had 11 points at halftime, which is fine, but not, the most rosy thing of all time. And he was like 4 for 12 from the field. I thought, man, if he can't get going, even if the Pacers do cool off, maybe that will be a reason that they win this game. How about the opposite? How about he just completely destroys them in the second half after a poor first half? 7 for 13 for 20 points. He was plus 18 in just the second half, 5 rebounds as well. Dot corner 3 over Siakam in that TD guard. And I think a lot of fans had a flashback to the of game 1 of the Celtics series in 2024 when that would happen. He was really tough to guard. He's had an awesome season and proved what makes him so good on that play after a bad first half. Being so, I know I mentioned this when I mentioned why the Pacers did what I thought was the right move and went to a smaller group in crunch time. Like, Nehemiah Kid is really good. He had he's been a beast in the glass season, but they went small to close. They just needed more from the center position in this. Jay Huff has had a couple poor ones in a row. I talked about the blocks, but you haven't felt his impact as much. And right after, I thought he was making it a little clear that he was separating himself to be the starter. And since then, I thought Jack's playing more forceful, maybe not better, but more forceful. Maybe Jackson was trending towards being the air quotes better center, but then he got hurt in this game. And Wiseman, he's been on the team for 2 days. Rick said he might not be in game shape yet. I have no actual critique of anything he did, but you need more from anything in a game like this where shooting is going away. You can get something going down low or get any sort of force power from your bigs. Jay Huff, I think, drove 1 time in this game and missed the layup. Wiseman took 1, 2. I'm not trying to critique him at the most right here because of how short of amount of time he's been on the team. You just need more from that position. In a lot of their wins, they've gotten good center play for 30 to 40 minutes. In this game, they got good center play for 10, maybe, if you could string together their best moments. I hate how this game is going to remember Pascal Siakam's performance because his second half was extremely quiet. Second half, Pascal Siakam was 1 for 7 with 3 rebounds and 2 assists. He had 2 points. That's bad. That is a bad half for Pascal Siakam. He deserves the required amount of critique for that. His first half was insane. 23 points in the first half. He made 4 threes. He was dominating everybody with exactly what I described earlier. He'd see a double come, and he would immediately react, whether that was a pass to someone, whether that was a quick spin, whether that was turning into a shot. Like, he still scored 11 points on non-threes in the first half, right? That would be like close to his average just there. He was awesome to start this game and was forcing the Celtics to react to everything. And that was just as much a big reason the Pacers offense looked so good early in this game was his individual brilliance, his moves, his ability to get to shots. And this game will not remember him. 25, 6, and 3. That's like basically his averages this season. That's how good he's been. And he had a terrible second half. If he had a good second half, the Pacers win this game. But he was so good in the first half. They're not only without him. 2 other guys I want to talk about for different reasons. I'll do the good guy first. Ben Mathurin was awesome. Ben Mathurin was awesome. I know that this game will be remembered from the stats as 16 points on 20 shots. That's not good. It's not. Ben Mathurin, that's not good. He did every freaking little thing in this game. He had a block that was sensational, chasing down, I believe, Jaylen Brown, running back hard on defense in a 2-on-1. It was really a 2-on-0 for the Celtics. He was back enough that 2-on is not fair, but to chase down that block was impressive. And that was in the second half where he offensive rebounds that led the Pacers in this game, had 2 hugely timed important putbacks where he was patient catching the ball in the air and got enough lift to like pause and then put in. I think he did a lot of good stuff in this game. He was 5 for 13 on 2. The biggest critique, he had no free throw attempts. Like, for what he's great at, and the toe factor in this, his toe injury is a factor in this, to not have more impact there was not great. But I thought he had a great little things game in a way that made him really good despite a 9. And that will not get remembered or talked about a lot given what his stat line ended up, but veteran deserves that shout. Okay, I got to talk about Ethan Thompson just one more time. Like, he had 13 points. He had made 3 threes. That's all great. He had 4 assists. He keeps the ball moving. That's the second most assists of any starter, by the way. That's not good. 4 rebounds. That's all nice. He makes effort plays. He guards. Like, Ethan Thompson is bad or doesn't deserve to play. But, like, he takes an off-the-dribble mid-range shot. In the first one, I don't like it. And then the second half, he drives with space after running his defender off the three-point line, and he scores. So it's like, I don't want to overdo it because this game he made everything in the first. Second half, Ethan Thompson, to be clear, was 1 for 5 with 2 points. So keep that in mind. He entered halftime 4 for 7 and looked a lot better. He's done better this week at taking this in front of him. That's part of what I thought was an issue with him is other teams were just leaving him wide open. Wide open. If you're a 5th option, 12 shots is a lot. Like, I still think that. I felt that after the Philly game. This just feels overly critical, but I think he needs to just put it on the floor and then keep it moving. Not on the floor to look for a different kind of shot, even if that's been better for him. If they want to stick with a 5th starter, whatever. It's not what I would do as the Pacers. I get that this game was different without McConnell, but he's playing well, and just something is missing there with me that I keep putting notes in. Like, that just doesn't feel like what they should want him to be doing in that moment, even if he's not necessarily playing particularly poorly in this game. But the second half was very poor for them in this game. They are now 6 and 23. Yucks. It's the second worst record in the NBA. Despite a great shooting first half and a 20-point lead, they lose to the Celtics. We'll have much more. I'm talking Pacers Bucks from Gamebridge Fieldhouse. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. You can find me on social media at Tony Tyrese and this podcast at Locked On Pacers. Thank you all so much for listening today. Have a full rest of your day. We will see you tomorrow.